Good morning. It is Tuesday, no. What day is today? I have no idea anymore. Today is Wednesday. I had a very rough night last night. My face is very puffy because of it. I started hearing a fire alarm. So, long story, I'm kind of an insomniac. I wake up a lot in the middle of the night, so that happened. I woke up it was 2:15ish a.m. and I could hear this fire alarm going off, like the distinctive sound of a fire alarm where it's like beep, 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 like that sound. And not only am I an insomniac, but my greatest fear is fires because I was in one at a very young age and like I don't remember it, but I remember that fear. So if I hear a fire alarm, like I have hypersensitive hearing, and two, I'm an insomniac. So I could hear this thing going off, and I am extremely anxious about fires. So it's not the first time it's happened. It's not the first time that I've been woken up by like a smell of a fire or something. This is an old building. The windows aren't fully sealed, so there have been times where like a fire in the distance has woken me up in the middle of the night. Usually when I hear fire alarms, it's during the day though. And this kept going for like 15 minutes, and I was getting really anxious because I could hear that it was coming from not too far, but I couldn't tell how far. So I freaked out, went outside, couldn't find it. Could tell it wasn't my building, but it still sounded pretty close. So I just couldn't go back to sleep because I was so anxious. I tried calling the non-emergency fire department. I didn't want to call 911 because the last time that I called for something that actually was catching on fire, they treated it as like this very like whatever that happens all the time thing. It was a electrical line that was sparking, and it kept raining sparks down onto a tree, and I was like, that's how fires start. But the guy from the fire department came and was like, that's normal. Call the electric company, who did actually take it seriously. But I didn't feel like going through that and calling them and being like, hey, so I hear a fire alarm and I don't know where it's coming from. So I basically couldn't sleep. I ended up taking a drive. I could sort of pinpoint where it was coming from, and at least I knew it wasn't too close to where I lived, but I couldn't see anything. Nobody seemed to be awake, so I came back home, put on some ASMR, and eventually fell asleep at like almost 5 a.m. I think the last time I looked. I have to look at the very obsessive shopping list I was making while trying to relax myself into sleeping and see what the timestamp is on that. It must have been around 5 a.m. So it's now almost 8. I just woke up because I'm exhausted. It's going to be a long day. I still hear the alarm though. So at least nothing happened overnight, and it's still going off. I just don't understand where it's coming from. I'm guessing it's a building where there's no one, and that is a thing. There are several empty storefronts in my street, so it could be one of them. But yeah, I drove down the road, couldn't see anything happening in any of them, and sort of pinpointed it, but it was too vague to try to tell someone, like, hey, there's an alarm going off in this general vicinity of this building. So I kind of had to like sit with my anxiety for a few hours in the dark. That's the story of my Wednesday. Hope yours is going better than mine. But I'm gonna drink my coffee. I heated up a little bit of milk today. I don't normally do that, but I felt like I wanted something a bit creamier. It's disappointing though because it's a very watery oat milk, not the one that I normally buy, and it's not creamy, but it's okay. That's what it is. I'm going to just do what I have to do. Normally I would read a little bit in the morning, but it's getting a little on with time. I might do some morning exercises. I'm trying to get back into movement now that the arm is healing. I did go to the doctor yesterday, and I do not have cancer, so a huge weight off my mind, off my shoulders, off everything. I am so much less stressed just with knowing that. I mean, with everything else that's been happening, I didn't need a cancer diagnosis on top of everything else. My dad has a cancer diagnosis, I mentioned in one of the last vlogs, and the possibility of him having that diagnosis and myself was really stressing my mom out. She's taking care of my grandmother who has Alzheimer's. It's been a rough year for everyone, obviously. Um, I've known several people who have been dealing with cancer and COVID, and it's not a thing that you want to deal with ever. And right now, it's just so much more stressful because of if your immune system is compromised and you're out and about and you have no one to help you and you're in a hospital, and it's just a whole darn disaster. So if you are struggling with something like cancer or a chronic illness that takes you into the hospital a lot, like, all my sympathy to you, because it's not easy. Just the few tests that I've had since last, like, May, there were multiple health issues. I'm going to eventually record a video because there were a lot of health issues that I had in the last year that I sort of want to get off my chest. But every time I have to go into a specialist office, more so than just like, hey, I'm here for a routine visit. Specialists sometimes take a long time. There's a lot of people there. It's super stressful and anxiety inducing for me. And then afterwards, I'm thinking, like, okay, time to, like, watch myself for 5 to 8 days and see if I develop symptoms, which is what I'm doing now. So it will be now a week since I did the biopsy, but I went to follow up on Monday, so I have to wait like another week to see if I develop any symptoms there. I hope not. But we'll see. Stay safe. I'll check in with you guys later.
Hopefully that sounds great to you. If anybody has to leave early, you're welcome to. I'll be sending out the replay as soon as this basically uploads and, like, converts. I'll send out the replay probably tonight, and I probably